From a Lego set that disrespected an entire country to one of the most racist toys I have ever seen, these are 25 banned Lego items. And let's start with the Lego set that was designed, manufactured, and then randomly cancelled by Lego. This is the Lego Bell Boeing, a set based on one of the most recognizable military helicopters in the world. As we said, this Lego set was literally weeks from being released when suddenly Lego announced that they would not be releasing it. Lego has for decades now had a pretty concrete rule that violence should be humoristic and jokey, and as such, they never released any sets based on war, the army, or even actual violence. Which is why some unnecessarily protective parents complained to Lego when the set was announced, claiming that the Lego set promoted violence to children. Come on, really? That is like saying the Lego McLaren promotes driving without a license. This is just stupid. Unfortunately, Lego did give in to the backlash and this set never hit the shelves. However, our next Lego set did in fact hit the shelves and forced Lego to seriously reconsider how they market certain sets. This is the Lego Star Wars UCS Republic Gunship, a legendary Lego set depicting one of the most recognizable vehicles from the Star Wars prequels. The Republican gunship is what all of the Jedis flew in on when Anakin, Obi, and Padme were trapped on Geonosis in order to rescue them and thus kick off the beginning of the fall off of the Republic. Sorry, I think I went on a tangent. Anyways, back to Lego. This set was actually the result of a fan vote, and fans were desperate to see what Lego minifigures they would get with the set. Some fans were expecting Yoda, Clone Commander Cody, Mace Windu, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and more. However, when the set actually released, fans were really disappointed with the minifigures it came with it only including Mace Windu and a generic clone minifigure. Fans were outraged as they felt that this was Lego really dropping the ball, especially given with just how many iconic characters appear within this part of the movie. They really could have added in just one or two more minifigures and fans would have been perfectly happy. The main issue was that Lego just did not really tell the fans what to expect, and so when the set was announced, people were very unhappy. However, maybe not as unhappy as the Turkish community with this next Lego Star Wars set. This is Jabba's Palace. Now, if you are a longtime fan of the channel, you might know that we have actually spoken about this set in various other videos, and this is perhaps one of the more controversial Lego items ever released. So let me give you a brief rundown. When this set was announced, most of the world were actually pretty excited. For a while, fans have been desperate for a set based on Jabba the Hutt's palace, and as such, when it was revealed, everyone was excited. However, there was one community that was not happy, which was the Turkish people. You see, in Star Wars, a lot of inspiration from Tatooine comes from the Middle East. Details from the environment, buildings, and even some of the cultures were pretty common in the Middle East. However, perhaps the worst offender for this was Jabba's palace. Let me show you two images. This is the Lego version of Jabba's palace. This is the movie's version of Jabba's palace. Actually, a pretty good set that looks pretty close to the original. However, now let me show you this Turkish palace known as the Hagia Sophia. I probably butchered that name, but this is it right here. You can see it is very obvious where both Lego and of course Star Wars pulled the inspiration from the building, and so when this Lego set was revealed, the Turkish community were outraged and demanded that the set be pulled from shelves, claiming it was insensitive to their religion as the Hagia Sophia is the mosque. As a result, Lego were forced to retire this set a lot sooner than they expected. If only they were like that with this next banned Lego item that stuck around for years. Lego is one of the most successful companies in the world and is definitely one of the most successful toy companies. And this is largely thanks to their partnerships with various brands and companies. From Lego Harry Potter all the way up to Lego Horizon Forbidden West, they have partnered with countless fan favorite franchises and movies and more. However, their most controversial partnership is definitely their collaboration with Shell Garage. The Shell Garage collaboration was massively successful throughout the 20th century. However, when we went into the 21st century, people began to realize that the oil fracking was actually horrendous for the environment, as well as things like plastic pollution, damaging natural habitats, and other environmental problems. So when they announced that they would be continuing their long-standing collaboration with Shell in the early 2010s, one company had a huge problem: Greenpeace. Now, Greenpeace are of course controversial in their own way to some people, but they did raise a good point that oil drilling is one of the worst things for the environment, and when you are manufacturing plastic toys as well, you are actively creating a partnership that is horrendous. This led Greenpeace to release a parody of the massively well-known Everything is Awesome song from the Lego movie that features moving shots of oil ruining a Lego frozen environment. Following the public's backlash, Lego were forced to finally end their outdated partnership with Shell, which is kind of a shame as the sets were quite cool. However, there is one Lego set that was actually not that cool. This is the Lego Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. Of course, a set based on one of the coolest movie scenes ever, where Indiana Jones rides on a minecart through the Temple of Doom. This is pretty cool until you see the horrendous depiction of indigenous people. This is something that plagued just about every LEGO set that was released as part of LEGO Indiana Jones, which of course drew massive backlash from the cultures these minifigures and sets were meant to represent. And perhaps the worst offender was the Temple of Doom, which was actually quietly banned by LEGO as a result of the immense backlash they faced. Unfortunately for LEGO though, this next LEGO set they could not cover up. This is LEGO Overwatch. This was a planned collaboration between LEGO and Activision Blizzard to celebrate the legacy of Overwatch as they moved into the second game in their massively successful franchise. Fans were extremely excited for these LEGO sets, and just weeks before they were about to release to the public, a huge controversy came out. Activision Blizzard was exposed for some truly horrendous working environments, including sexism, assault, and worse. This is one of the most public and devastating video game expositions ever in history. And as such, LEGO decided to cancel their collaboration with Overwatch and publicly release their statement explaining the cancellation. And I quote, "We are currently reviewing our partnership with Activision Blizzard, given concerns about the progress being made to address continuing allegations regarding workplace culture, especially the treatment of female colleagues, and creating a diverse and inclusive environment. While we complete the review, we will pause the release of LEGO Overwatch 2 product, which was due to go on sale February 1st, 2022. And clearly this internal review from LEGO led to the decision to just cancel the LEGO Overwatch sets. Although some people have been able to get their hands on some of these sets in black markets and auction websites, hopefully someday we'll be able to see LEGO Overwatch sets, especially with the company now being far better. But not every company makes these efforts to be better, such as the next collaboration between LEGO and Marvel, which actually had a pretty sad backstory. The original Spider-Man trilogy was some of the best Spider-Man movies ever, as well as some of the worst. However, for ages the team behind the movie were fighting tooth and nail to make a fourth version of a movie. They were reaching out to producers, actors, writers, and more desperately trying to prove that Marvel would be good in the business venture. However, there was one problem: they could not get a good script. In their massive attempt to prove this movie could make money, they reached out to LEGO to design and set up a collaboration between Spider-Man 4 and LEGO, and it actually seemed to be somewhat a good collaboration. Unfortunately though, as the movie was cancelled, they of course had to ban the LEGO sets, and any and all prototype sets that were unfortunately destroyed. RIP Spider-Man 4. Of course this is not LEGO's fault, but sometimes banned LEGO sets can be their fault. This is the LEGO Zombies theme, a proposed theme that would be based around zombies, as you would expect. The theme was growing quite a bit of popularity online. Unfortunately though, as the popularity and hope for this theme began to grow, so did the angry Karens online who felt that this was a way too inappropriate set for kids. This theme was going to be coming around at the same time as shows like The Walking Dead dominated the TV charts. And given that this theme would have the same zombies in it, parents felt that this was going to be an age-appropriate stuff for children. As a result, LEGO had to go ban their LEGO zombie sets, although some people online do claim that they own a LEGO zombie set, which is very unlikely. Karens always ruin some of the most amazing LEGO themes of all time, but there was one pretty horrendous theme that they actually banned for a pretty good reason. Who remembers the LEGO Lone Ranger theme? No one? Yeah, I don't blame you. The Lone Ranger theme was meant to kick off the next big franchise for Disney, but upon release, well, the movie sucked. It was not a good cowboy movie and was actually one of the biggest flops Disney ever released. Unfortunately though, Disney had big plans for the franchise, and so they partnered up with LEGO around the same time as the movie was due to be released. With a movie that was criticized for the cultural appropriation, bad writing, and pretty disappointing visuals, surely LEGO could save it, right? Right? Wrong. As such, the Karens kicked off, and so LEGO was forced to retire the theme a lot earlier than they ever planned to. But LEGO learned from their mistakes and never released a set like this again. Yeah, just kidding. LEGO seems to always somehow make products that will offend some cultures or groups of people somewhere in the world. One of the biggest mistakes LEGO seems to constantly make is stereotypes for women, such as the various LEGO Friends New Van sets. Now I must admit that these sets usually are nowhere near as bad as the variation that LEGO originally had planned, which has been banned by LEGO. The original sets often get tested against focus groups, and I can imagine that almost every LEGO fan set performs badly, with many women claiming that these sets promote gender stereotypes. When you compare LEGO City to LEGO Friends, you can kind of see why. In LEGO City, male characters are seen in very important jobs such as firefighters, police officers, and more. However, LEGO Friends depicts women in stereotypical female jobs such as journalists, bakers, fashion store owners, etc. This is an issue LEGO has had for years, and they always seem to get it wrong. LEGO had to go back through and change some of these sets just before its release, which led to what we have now. And if any of these were new and shocked you, make sure you hit the like button, comment which section was your favorite, and subscribe.